Hi everyone, here is a quick video on using the pen tool to create straight lines and curved lines for custom objects that are not up here in our normal shapes tools. Alright, we've got to create something custom. Alright, there's two things that are really important for the pen tool. If you want to do a straight line like these two, you're just going to single click for straight lines. If you'd like to do a curve, you're going to click, hold, and drag. And we're going to tell you how to customize all that at the end. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to come over here to my pen tool. And I have my pen tool. And this worksheet says you are to trace it with the pen tool. I want a bright 3-point stroke, which is the border, and no fill. As you can see right now on my pen tool, I'm set to a white fill. Let's go ahead and turn that off by hitting the slash right here. I'm going to click on the stroke. And I could grab a color right here, or I'm going to come over to my swatches, and you're going to notice that your swatches are actually gone. Sometimes when you load files, the swatches disappear. So we're going to come down here to the bottom left corner, go to default, and just go to art and illustration for now. And here are some swatches. So let's go and add this to the other toolbar over here. I'm going to change it to this nice bright green. Now also for this worksheet, it says say a bright 3-point stroke. So let's go ahead and switch our point to up to 3-point stroke. All right, for straight lines, we're going to go ahead and single click, and you're going to click wherever these boxes are at the corners. And we're just going to recreate these shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and when we're done, we're just going to go ahead and hit enter on the keyboard, and we'll be able to start a new shape. All right, let's go and do the second shape here. Again, single click, single click. All right, and once you close a shape, you don't have to enter. If you finish right back where you started, it's done. You don't have anywhere else to go. All right, let's go ahead and zoom in on this next one. I'm going to hit Z for zoom. I'm going to drag around this sort of blob-looking thing, and I'm going to go back to my pen tool. And if you haven't noticed, or if you did, P is for pen, P is for the pen tool. If you want to do the shortcut, you just click P on your keyboard. And the way we do these is to click, hold, and drag. So I'm going to click and drag. Now I'm going to go around this shape clockwise. So you notice my cursor is off to the right side. Now you want to kind of match the curve that you're going, the curve and the kind of the shape. And these are what I'm going to call the handlebars. So now I'm going to bring out my next anchor and click right here where it tells us to. And I'm going to click and drag, but I'm going in the down arrow. Now, if this doesn't end up right, so that looks pretty good. But when I come over to here, you notice my shape is really off the line. Don't worry about that so much. We're just going to click at all these anchors. We're going to do the best we can. Click and drag, and I'm going to kind of mess up some of these. I'm going to go a little bit shorter on this one. I'm a little bit off of the gray line. You're trying to trace this gray line, but I'm going to make a few mistakes here. Let me go and finish this up. All right, I'm going to just go hit my black arrow V so I can finish the shape here. Actually, and I'm going to come over here to my white arrow. So the black arrow, the selection tool, allows you to grab a complete object and move it around. I'm going to go Control Z, Control Z. With the white arrow, the direct selection tool allows us to grab parts of an object. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my white arrow, and this is going to allow us to kind of clean things up. I'm going to zoom in even further. Z for zoom. And actually, let's learn the shortcut for this, our direct selection. White arrow A is the shortcut for this one. So I'm just going to hit A on my keyboard. I'm going to click on an anchor. Once you select an anchor, you're able to move it around wherever you want. So if you missed your target right here, you can click and drag, and oops, I was on the path there. Control Z, click on the anchor, and we can move it around. Now also what we can do is click on an anchor, and we could adjust the handlebars. So I'm going to shorten this one up. This one might need to, let's see, I'm going to come over to this anchor. And maybe I need to stretch this one down a little bit and bring this one down. So there's two ways we could do this. Like I was doing right there by grabbing the handlebars, or we could actually click on the actual path itself and drag it to where we want it. Spacebar. I'm on my white arrow. I could click on the path and move it around. Or I can click on an anchor, click on a handlebar, and drag it that way. It's really your preference. Spacebar, spacebar. I'm going to click on this anchor here. Stretch this handlebar a little bit further, and there we go. And this anchor you can see is a little bit off right here, so I'm going to click on the anchor once and move it right into its place. This one I'm going to go ahead and grab on the path, drag it over a little bit. This one I'm going to click on the anchor. Let's move this one over, and while I'm at it, let's go ahead and shorten these handlebars and We're pretty close to getting this one all done. Let's go move this anchor up. Space bar to move it over. Click the anchor in the right direction. All right, let's go and zoom out, Control minus, and we got this pretty well done. Your job is to try to get it as close as possible, but you don't need to watch me do it. Let's go and go to our next shape here. Let's deselect. Space bar. Let's come over here to the yin and yang. All right, for this one, I'm going to go and start at the top, but this is going to require us to use the Alt key to go ahead and break it. So let's go to our pen tool. I'm going to start at the top anchor. I'm going to click and drag, not too far, not too little. Again, I'm not too worried about getting it exactly right this first time because we could always come back with the white arrow, the direct selection tool, and go ahead and clean these up a little bit. So at this corner here, I'm going to click and drag, but before you let go of your mouse, you're going to go ahead and click the Alt key, and the Alt key is going to allow us to break this and drag it back over, and I can go and do not cross over to this side. It's got to be on the other side of this handlebar, and we can click and drag and go ahead and do that. All right, that allows us how to get this sharp corner here by holding the Alt key. So I won't clean this up, but your goal is to get it as close as possible. Space bar, let's move our page over. On this Jaguar, I'm going to do the lower half. And as a reminder, your goal is to use as few anchors as possible. So let's go ahead and zoom in some more. Let's make sure I'm going to click in the white arrow, deselect, and go Control plus plus plus, space bar to move it over. And let's go and get started. Go to my pen tool, P for pen. Let's go ahead and click and drag. I'm going to start at the belly here. And I'm not going to click. I'm going to do this whole, let's go with a straight line there. And we come back, like I said, we come back and clean this up later. So let me go, and Control Z does work while you're using your pen tool. So click and drag. I'm going to go after the anchor, after the ankle to the front of the paw. Click and drag. Bottom of the paw. Let's go after the ankle here. We'll do one more before this heel. Click and drag to get a nice curve for that. To the back of the leg. And here, right here at the corner, I'm going to click and drag just a little. Oops, Control Z, I let go. I'm going to click and drag. Now, reminder, on this handlebar, what you're going to do is hold the Alt key again, hold Alt, be able to break it, come back in the other direction, and we're going to get that sharp edge there. All right, so you're going to want to complete this whole shape with one path. It's going to be a closed path. When you start, you go all the way around and come back to the beginning. We call that a closed path. I'm going to stop right here. I want to show you one more thing on the pen tool that we haven't gone over yet, and that's how to add or subtract anchors. So let's say you have too many anchors and you want to get rid of them. We're going to come up here to our pen tool, and I'm going to come here to the delete anchor point. And right now, as our pen tool has a little minus sign next to it, and we can subtract an anchor. Right on it, it will delete it. It will get rid of anchors. Now, obviously, this isn't looking correct. Let's go ahead and add anchors back. If you find that you should have had more, I'm going to click and hold on the pen tool, go to add anchor. I'm going to click on the path. That'll add an anchor wherever you click, and then you can go to your white arrow, your selection tool, direct selection, and move that anchor wherever you want. Now the shortcuts are P plus and P minus. If you want to add an anchor, you go to P for pen, P plus. Now we can add one, and let's go P minus to subtract an anchor. And we can go to get rid of, nope, that's a handle. There's an anchor right there. All right, hope that helps. Get this Jaguar traced out as good as you can. All right, have fun.